But I shall read the settlements for the closed session items considered by Budget and Finance Committee. Item 19, in the case entitled Brandy Menard et al. Versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $195,000 in settlement. Item 20, in the case entitled Santos Orellana et al. Versus Johnny Charles Wilson et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $325,000 in settlement. Item 21, in the case entitled Bianca Irene Arusi Placias versus City of Los Angeles et al., there's a recommendation to expend up to $575,000 in settlement. Item 22, in the case entitled Jim Potapan versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $300,000 in settlement. Item 23, in the case entitled Jesus Sandoval et al. Versus City of Los Angeles et al., there's a recommendation to expend up to $1,150,000 in settlement. Item 24, in the case entitled Mark Sayeg versus Jesus Carrillo Jr. et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $150,000 in settlement. Item 25, in the case entitled Diana Vigil versus City of Los Angeles, there's a recommendation to expend up to $125,000 in settlement. Item 26, in the case entitled Suzanne Carney versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $826,000 in settlement. Item 27, in the case entitled Elizabeth Greenwood versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $500,000 in settlement. Item 29, in the case entitled Herbert Orlando Allen Jr. versus Marin Alfredo Contreras et al., there is a recommendation to reject the offer of settlement. Item 30, in the case entitled Anthony Dillion versus City of Los Angeles, there's a recommendation to reject the offer of settlement. Item 31, in the case entitled Florence Medical Center Incorporated versus City of Los Angeles, there is a recommendation to reject the offer of settlement. And finally, for item 33, in the case entitled United States of America ex rel. Mei Ling and Fair Housing Council of San Fernando Valley versus City of Los Angeles, there is a recommendation to expend up to $129,405.06 in settlement.
All right, those items are now before us. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Councilmember Yaroslavsky.
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to add item 5. We also considered that at the same council meeting, and I recommend approval of item 5. It's PD overtime. It's been approved already. Okay,
It's
great.
been approved. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. What's next?
So again, please wait until you hear the name that you signed up under called out aloud, and then you can line up in any order on your left-hand side of the council chambers. Thank you.
I'll begin calling names. Stacy Segarra Bollinger, McAllister, and Mark Kubisky.
Thank you. Go ahead. You have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general.
Yeah, motherfucker! I'm the first to have your impermissible restraint on my First Amendment, as you tell the audience. But the audience approves of my effective communication by the fucked up first black mayor of Los Angeles woman, because she don't want us to have cannabis to get high. I want to get high with you. Does anybody want to get high with me? Well, let's talk about this. Guidelines of the process according to blah blah and Mana cow over there, moo. Now she's listening, everybody, because I have an assessment to assess against our local government. Fuck you on behalf of Measure 64 and on behalf of all the business owners who want a permit to sell cannabis, you hoe. Then I go to item number, this is 4 pages long, nigga. I got a rap on this. The rap reports that all annual physical of 6.54 million ounces of Proposition K for kids. Wasn't that song? Proposition K for kids. All the other fucked up kids with the K wanna say fuck you. Then I go to the back of this goddamn 40-page agenda shit.
Can we go to general public comment?
Nah, I'm talking about item number 18 in CD9. Are you retaliating because Mr. Price doesn't recuse himself from the 18 million bonds on the project known as Main Street? Where's the housing? How many years I've been here explaining to the world about the housing conditions? I prayed to God, I prayed to the jujus and the money tree to provide 57 more units on behalf of David O. Carter, for the record. For I want the record to reflect the motion that I bring to the floor today in allocating more billions of dollars of stolen allocated money by Ramen Noodle and that Juju Bob Bloomfield up there talking to Monaco. Moo, 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 moo. Yeah, everybody, it's Christmas. Look at item 17, veto of the mayor. Fuck the mayor, too. Item 15, Bloomfield and Lee. Fuck them, too, on both those two names. And look at item 16, communication from the administrative officer. Fuck Matt Zabel on behalf of David O. Carter, a federal judge and a federal probe against LA Housing and LA County ripoff machine.
Next speaker. Mr. Herman, I will remind you that you have already been warned today and your time has expired.
I get 3 + 1 is 4.
Okay, sorry. You have 1 minute for general public comment. Go
I
ahead.
need my time back. Now that I have a diamond ring, it will shine on the city of criminal corruption and terrorism. Smoking scan, you know for a fact that Marquise Sambo Django has a thrill with my big dick. I want my rations so I can buy my cannabis and get a motherfucking high on you. If I had a reason, I'd be crying out to the world. I don't give a fuck about you, Mommy Mayor Bass, because you're such an ass. If there's really democracy, then let me be the first one to say, fuck you.
Next speaker.
Before the next speaker, I'd like to call a few more names. Christopher Martinez, George Buzzetti, and John Kalish.
Good morning, Speaker. Which items would you like to speak to?
All items and general public comment, please.
Okay. You have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Great. I guess I'll start with item 14. This is to appropriate $1,682.19 for something called a ceremonial sign ceremony. Sounds a little redundant. I understand that this is a relatively small amount of money compared to the budget as a whole. However, I think in an impending structural deficit, it would be wise for this council to not levy expenditures related to ceremonies and superfluous things. Maybe community members, private entities can fund those things if they want to see them happen. Bids, organizations, 501c3s, instead of the city ponying up money for things we really don't need. We should be on a tighter budget. Item 15 is a $50,000 reward. I don't understand why these rewards come out of the city's budget when it's the people doing LAPD's job for them. Considering the significant portion of the budget the LAPD gets, they should be taking on more of these expenses through their department. The taxpayer shouldn't be on the hook for that. If the LAPD can't find this person and they need the people to do it, they should be paying, not us. Item 18 is housing revenue bonds for multifamily housing. The amount is $18,503,750 for the new construction of a 57-unit project. I'm sure this is a great project. My question regarding these housing revenue bonds tends to be, if we can do revenue bonds to fund developers and landlords to build and own and manage new housing, why can we not do mortgage revenue bonds so that we can finance individuals and families to get into homes that they own? We know that the likelihood of a homeowner becoming unhoused is significantly less, as a tiny, tiny fraction of the likelihood of someone who rents becoming unhoused. So when we see these mortgage revenue bonds and these expenditures that go to fund developers and landlords, it's kind of like paying the middleman. We should be paying individuals and families to be able to own their home in Los Angeles, and that will also mitigate the crisis of the unhoused resident population. Item 17, I thought the time was up on that, but it's really interesting regarding the budget and the negotiations that members of this body made with the mayor regarding reinstating the 240, I think, hires for the LAPD that y'all eliminated in your budget, and rightfully so, good on that. But the fact that you made this negotiation to bring those hires back, to appropriate funds for that, and then you're making all these lofty statements in the press about supporting these demonstrations while the LAPD is terrorizing the city. They set fire to some Waymo cars. Protesters aren't standing for the way that the things are. Our leaders are in the press talking a big game. But when it comes to legislation, everything's the same. Your fake-ass rally, complete with a sound stage, it leaves me thinking that it's all political. Fuck. Without real action, your words are useless. The people notice it's all political. Your empty, hollow speech. You're not protecting immigrants, but you'll pay them for your greed. Isabel, why are you putting Luz Aguilar on paid leave? You should be supporting her.
Before the next speaker, I'd like to call a few more names. Suarez Fuentes, Harriet Elliott, and Karen Peterson.
Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Christopher Martinez, social equity applicant. Just wanted to make some statements. The DCR in their study hasn't provided any processing timeline that could provide a comprehensive understanding of their how much it costs for them to review our applications, making it impossible to validate whether the increased fees and staffing will address the bottlenecks. We're being asked to pay without any evidence that it will lead to measurable improvements. In any other regulated industry, this would not be acceptable. Solutions that I would recommend is cut internal overhead and align with staffing with clearly defined goals, hire a third-party compliance consultant to manage licensing inspections, and integrate coordination on a flat contract basis. This would deliver predictability, reduce redundancy, and create a performance-based accountability, and immediately publish accurate processing timelines for every license type and stage. Without that, this entire fee study is speculative at best. The system isn't just underfunded, it's broken. More money won't fix it. It needs to be rebuilt with efficiency and cost saving at its core, just like the current operators have been forced to operate under the current industry. It makes zero sense as to why the DCR insists on charging me $542 to include a DBA to my license when the LA Department of Finance and the State Department of Cannabis Control does it for free.
Can we pause this time
DCR
for a
wants
second?
to charge over $2,000.
Speaker, your time is paused. So we have to give everybody about the same amount of time. So you've requested all items, but I believe you're only talking about one of the items related to the Department of Cannabis regulation. If you'd like, you're more than welcome to talk about it during general public
DCR also wants
comment.
to charge $2,000 just to change my ownership when it's free
Speaker,
at the state
hold
level.
on. but you've exhausted your 1 minute on that item. So would you like to move to general to continue talking about this?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna go to general.
Okay,
So-
1 minute for general public comment.
7, 8, 11, it's because they approved it already. We can't speak on it.
Folks on this side, the west side of the room, this is your first warning
you guys are
for
running my
disrupting
time.
meeting. And sir, you standing up with the blue tie, that's your first warning. This will be your last warning. You'll be excused from the meeting should we
So I
have
still got
to
7 in general then.
stop for another disruption.
7, 8 in general. So
Okay.
you guys kind of, so I'll finish it up.
Yes,
7,
I
8.
see it now. So just as a request to the audience, it is extremely helpful if instead of saying all items, you let us know generally, especially if you're going to talk about 3 specific items, which items you would like to talk about. So I see 7 and 8 on there. I believe you had about a minute, so you've used...
That was more than a minute 45 left.
Speaker, hold on. So you have used a minute and 20 seconds of those 2 items. So I'm going to ask the clerk to start the clock. We're going to let it go down to 20 seconds. That'll be your 2 minutes on the DCR items. And then if you'd like at that point, we can move you to general public comment.
So let me know when I can begin?
So clerk, if you could start the clock over at 1, I'm going to stop you at 20 seconds. And if you'd like, we can move to general there. So go ahead.
Here, giving me 1 minute, aren't I supposed to get a minute and 20? You told me
So I've given this instruction multiple times. What we're going to do, this is the last time I'm going to say it.
Okay, but
so
it's running.
There was only 2 items, I believe, that are related to the Department of Cannabis regulations. That's 7 and 8. You have already used 1 minute and 20 seconds of your initial 2-minute period. So we're going to start the clock at 1 minute. I'm going to tell you at 20 seconds because you're going to get 40. You're going to have a total of 2 minutes for those items, the same as anyone else. At that point, if you would like to, you can move to general public comment where you will have an additional minute.
Understood.
So we'll start at 1 minute again.
Okay, so just to try to reiterate, the fees are ridiculous. There's no reason why the DCR should be charging me 542 times more than what the state of cannabis control charges me to do a name change. Like I said, they also want to charge over $2,000 just for me to update my ownership information when the DCC, the state, doesn't charge me 1%. I'm going to adjust to my general public comments. I want to start off with, me llamo Christopher Martinez, soy hijo de inmigrantes mexicanos. I just wanted to let you guys know what I saw at the LA Times report. Los Angeles school police will start a safety perimeter around campuses and school events, including graduates, to keep federal immigration agents away from students, employees, and families during school official events starting Monday. The announcement was made by Superintendent Alberto. It comes amid widespread immigration raids in Los Angeles, including one on Monday at the Home Depot adjacent to Huntington Park. District leaders have frequently been circumspect. Please help the immigrant community. Thank you.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
I was going to speak at 1 and 4. However, all I have to say about 1 and 4 is that...
Okay, so I'm going to give you the 2 minutes for 1 and 4, and if you'd like, then you can switch to general. Just let us know. Go ahead.
Okay. All I need to say is, why haven't we been told that this budget was the first budget without lobbyists? I think that's a grand statement, and I just heard it. And it's just how interesting that we don't hear some of the most basic things here. That's all I have to say about that. I'm moving on to public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
The back of my shirt says, Fred Burks, he's the founder of Peers, want to know. He contacted me that he's going to help me investigate the death of Ellen Davis. Ellen Davis was a teacher, 151 English at Los Angeles City College. Holly Batty is their English chairperson right now. She would help out, but she doesn't remember Ellen Davis that much. The only one that does is Jessica Mintz, who I knew much better. The problem is there are 2 or 3 students who seem to be impeding the investigation, saying that Ellen Davis is in Canada. I know it's a lie. But how they got Fred Burke not to help me is just by stopping his email. This has happened before with the trans named Mackenzie. Stop the email.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
All items and general public comment, and I'll walk you through the items.
Okay. You have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
So we're starting on item number 1, and it's regarding a SECA compliance. Now, why do we have any faith that the city attorney's office will actually follow through with any SECA compliances? At the Plum meeting last week, we had a motion that was talking about such a very similar thing, and I'm going to make an analogy here where they were trying to build an entire mansion on an active slide, yet they approved the project anyway. The people that were trying to get their homes rebuilt as a part of the various destruction did not get any sort of consideration, yet the developer, who's known to be in the city attorney's pocket, got the project approved. It was clearly out of SECA compliance, and yet we have a motion here that we're supposed to take on good faith that this body will vote on it in any which way, in a positive, good faith manner. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Obviously, the city attorney's office is in the pockets of every developer in the city. Obviously, that's a fact. Shout out to Smoke and Scan, because he knows too. And now we're going to move on to item number 13. We have a discussion on, what do we have? We have yet another housing-related motion. Well, here's what Judge Carter and everybody else in the city thinks about housing-related motions. One of the top names mentioned in the giant fraud case that's against the city is in fact Bob Blumenfield. Repeatedly, Bob's name was brought up on how he is very well known for aiding and abetting, colluding with the various developers to not give proper consideration and use that money to line the pockets of their nonprofits and launder it all. So congratulations, Bob. Your name is repeatedly on the transcript. You officially made legendary status, and I hope to see you one day in prison when I'll visit you for a commissary. You can definitely count on that. So moving on now to item number 14, right? Item number 14, we have the labor costs associated. Well, what do your staffers think there, McCosker, of the cut that's coming to their salaries? How do you think I know all this information? How do you think I get all the insider leaks? It's your own staffers. It's your own staffers telling me all this information. It's your own damn staffers, because they're fed up with the fact that they're getting their salaries cut. They're fed up with the fact that you guys are a giant criminal gang. And at the head of it all is the city attorney's office, who repeatedly what? Does not prosecute LAPD officers for doing vile and disgusting things, like shooting somebody over 40 times even after they're dead, like hiring Ralph Campos, who hired a literal convicted serial rapist, who's the head of the LAPPL as a treasurer, who also has a major conflict of interest and has secret contracts to hire his security company to do various work for the LAPD, even though he hired a convicted serial rapist. That's what LA is, that's what this body supports, and that's who the city attorney's office refuses to prosecute. Hiring a convicted serial rapist, Ralph Campos of the LAPPL. That's what this body supports, that's what the city attorney's office refuses to prosecute, and shout out to Smoke and Scan.
Before the next speaker, I'd like to call a few more names. Madison Shockley, Xiuming Chair, and Molly Ross.
That's right. Niggas back.
Good morning. You have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general.
This motherfucking number
I'm
7.
sorry, this is Ms. Bollinger. This is your first and last warning for this meeting. Thank you.
For who? I just start talking, fool. Now, number 7. Now, number 7 and 8, very important. All of the payoffs have been made to all the various council members and staff. Now, Bob, I don't want to be a snitch, but Bob, all of the round 3 people have paid you off, Bob. We got to resume the selection process using the randomizer to decide which one of us lucky fools is going to be able to sell the magic weed to the magic fucking tree. You see, fool? We got to get everybody high, motherfucker. We got to get that ladder. We got to get down hard and then soft, bitch. Number 8, we don't need no study, fool. It's real simple. You just get your bottle of cheap wine, you get your prostitute on 77th and Fig, and you get your weed, and you have a nice evening to decompress from all of the terrible traffic and the jobs that we do. Take, for example, I'm a commercial airline pilot, and I have to go and decompress after a long international flight. I fully fucking say no to 7 and 8.
Now, if you're not going to do this, I want full refunds of all of the payoff money that has been given to the council members, and I will list the donors that are entitled to the refunds. They're all Chinese nationals. Jing Pong Wong, Dong Li Shi, Mong Dong Wu, and Mr. Tom Wong Lee of Cyprus. Now we're going to get to the veto. Donors the veto of Mayor Bass, the pain in the ass known as Bass. So we say to that crazy Cuban trained terrorist bitch that we should veto the entire budget, rewrite the entire budget, and give it to Mr. Herman for administration. That would be good because we can get Kanye involved and we can get other motherfuckers involved to rewrite and distribute the money accordingly. I would suggest tonight, for example, to stop the riots, put a helicopter up and drop $20 bills down all over starting at 8 o'clock at night as a way to say thank you for the tagging, thank you for all the overtime for the LAPD, thank you for fucking us up. Now for the general comment, we got the parrot cheerleader from our leader, Imelda Louisa Padilla. She needs to calm down, Burnout. You gotta calm down. You were openly trying to do what we're trying to do. We want to get that information when those ICE raids are coming out. Do you know how much money that shit's worth? My God, we can get $200,000-$300,000 a raid. And all we got to do is pot it away. Now, I realize them FBI agents, they just so full of shit. They're over there charging a couple of our brothers and sisters. And I think Imelda should post the bond for today's defendants. Let's give Imelda a hand. Yeah. Use office holder account money. That's right. And as she's walking over, we got Tracy Irene Park with her laptop emailing the United States Attorney, the FBI, and Homeland Security about all this shit. So keep up the good work, Imelda. Send me that information, and we'll get these motherfuckers to stop raiding our goddamn business.
Thank you. My name is Madison Shockley, social equity owner of a dispensary in South Los Angeles. I'm also the co-chair of the Black Los Angeles Cannabis Council. We represent over 20 social equity and Black-owned dispensaries across the city of Los Angeles. And we're entrepreneurs that you all should be proud of because we've survived the gauntlet of the social equity program for all these years, and we've contributed tremendous taxes to the city of Los Angeles. And we've been overtaxed. One of the items that you guys just passed was to not double tax the tax. That's something that passed at the state a year ago, and the city has been continuing to tax the state tax when calculating the tax that we pay. And so that's finally being changed. But what about the last year or the last few years that's been happening and we've been overtaxed? We need to be made whole for that. And then I want to speak to number 7 today, pausing round 3 of the social equity program till 2025. This is a good idea because we shouldn't bring people into a system that's broken and crushing people. This needs to be fixed and cleaned up before we bring new licenses into this system. So that's a good thing. But we still need to have this lottery round, and there's also licensees that are still haven't transitioned to annual licensure. So along with this, what needs to be done is extending temporary approval, temporary licenses for social equity until 2031. That needs to go along with extending the social equity program to 2031 like you guys are doing now. Item number 8. This is the fee study. You guys just approved a fee study that increases our fees by 137%. When the Department of Cannabis regulation is broken and everything they do is delayed by 6 months to a year, and it's been crushing our businesses, and you guys just approved to pay them more money. and everybody's salary there just went up by 10%, as it's done for the last 5 years. These increases are to make up for the 10% increases that they've gotten every year for the last 5 years. And you guys just approved that on our backs while we're being crushed right now. Just so you know what's happened with that vote. Item number 11. I addressed that already about the gross receipts double taxing. There is a motion called the Social Equity Reform and Market Stabilization motion. Those are the steps that needs to be taken after this. These are good initial steps, some of them, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Please pass the motion, the solutions that we put forward. Thank you.
I would really appreciate it if you guys would actually listen. I'm sorry, I know there are a lot of people who come here to waste your time, but I would please entreat you to reconsider whether LAPD should be allowed to be present at ICE raids. Their presence at these raids creates confusion about LAPD's role and blurs the lines between local policing and federal immigration enforcement, and contradicts LA's commitment as a sanctuary city. Also, LAPD can avoid complicity with the unconstitutional actions of the federal government, especially if it does not wish to further erode trust within its communities that it aims to protect and serve. ICE has been engaged in unconstitutional actions using militarized tactics and violence to terrorize LA communities. LAPD does not have to be involved in these violations of the rights of Angelenos, and by being present during ICE raids, many of which are carried out without judicial warrants, LAPD becomes complicit in actions that violate constitutional protections. Thank you.
Hi, I'm speaking on general public comment.
You have 1 minute.
My name is Shuming Shir, and I'm with the California Immigrant Policy Center. Immigration forces have terrorized our communities for years, and since Friday, advocates estimate over 300 people have been violently and forcibly kidnapped by ICE. By standing guard while ICE tears families apart, LAPD becomes complicit in actions that violate basic constitutional protections. LAPD's presence at the raids violates the spirit and perhaps the letter of the Sanctuary Ordinance, which says that no city resources shall be used for immigration enforcement. This presence doesn't just impact immigrant Angelenos, it traumatizes U.S. citizen children, divides mixed-status families, and further erodes public trust across entire communities. I call on the city to hold LAPD accountable, require them to report on why they decided to respond to immigration arrests, and ensure that LAPD has no role whatsoever in militarized raids in our neighborhoods and schools. Thank you.
My name is Luis Rivera. I'm a social equity applicant and license holder. Also, I represent Social Equity LA. We're here with hundreds of people making sure that the DCR does not approve the fee study. The City of Los Angeles and the DCR and Social Equity Program has failed its mission. The DCR has inhibited and crippled cannabis owners in LA with high taxes, outrageous and arbitrary fees, and excessive processing timelines. And now the city is approving a fee increase and raising wages. This is fraud and violates the city's full cost recovery requirements. The DCR needs to be regulated. We ask that you reject the audit and reject or audit the proposed fee study, and until an independent third party can conduct with public input, especially social equity owners like myself. And if it's passed, that you do not use the GoBiz grant money to cover these inflated fees. Please reallocate all state grant funding directly to social equity license holders and not increase in salaries. And please lower taxes and provide tax relief so that legal businesses can survive and provide the tax revenue the city needs. On to public comment. I thank you guys for your efforts that you've done so far to support the immigrant and undocumented community. This is not about policy or politics. It's about human beings, families, and community. And I'm proud, I'm a proud immigrant, and I ask that you do what you can to immediately get ICE out of Los Angeles, stop the raids, and protect the peace, and make sure to hold LAPD accountable. Thank you.
Seconded by Mr. Blumenfield. Oh, sorry. All right, findings for the special one. Members, as you know, We're in a fragile and precarious security situation in the city that has come up on us without advance warning, and so this motion is necessary in the situation that the council needs to receive security briefings outside the parameters of a regular meeting or in closed session. We can do so without running afoul of the Brown Act. All right, so can we open the roll on the findings? Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
All right. Now the item is before us. Let's open the roll. Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
Ayes.
All right, what's next?
Mr. President, should Special 1 and Item 1, Prop K, go forthwith, sir?
Yes. Announcement. Seeing no announcement, I'll ask everyone in the chamber to rise for any adjourning motions and ask if there are adjourning motions on my left. Sir, you are disrupting the meeting. This is your first and last warning. We're in adjourning motions. Any adjourning motions to my right? Seeing none, Councilmember Padilla, I'm sorry.
I don't have a slide for this as it was only announced through social media recently, but I do think it's important that we adjourn in the memory of Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. It's a sad day. I know that I will be mourning him playing his greatest hits. And I thank my third grade teacher for introducing me to such an awesome genre of music. Surf really is the best and so soothing. So I will be bumping Little Deuce Coupe over and over, and Don't Worry Baby, and I hope the rest of you do too. May you rest in peace.
Hold on, members. We're getting an update from the city attorney.
So the meeting is still in session. I will remind Mr. Spindler, this is your first and only formal warning. I cannot hear what the council president is saying because of your laughter. If you disrupt this meeting again, and I believe, George, this is your first and only warning as well, you'll be subject to Rule 7 and Rule 12 and be eligible for removal from this meeting. Okay, so appreciate most of your patience. We've been informed that there was a technical issue with the kiosks and that Special 1 was not available so that you could sign up for it. This being the case, we're going to open up a 10-minute period for public comment on Special 1.
No, they need to sign up.
So if you want to speak on Special 1, please sign up on the kiosks.
We will have public comment from now until 11:15.
Mr. President, council should reconsider Special 1 in order to accommodate the public comment, sir.
All right, let's open the roll on reconsideration. Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes, 1 no.
Can we call the names of the folks who signed up to speak?
Yep. TJ, George Buzetti, and Ian Jameson.
As usual, we have the criminal city attorney, as over in the homeless committee meeting, dissing the judge for 2 days and every federal official. And here you are, never learning your lesson, breaking the Brown Act, breaking every rule in the book, and we got to bang you while you threaten us. Guess what? DOJ was in court. You're looking at 10 years now, all of you fools. And for what you've been doing to me, I'm adding another 5 for elder abuse, especially a Nazarian, you fool.
This is not on Special 1, so you have
Yes,
25
it is.
seconds on
It
Special 1.
has to do with you breaking the Brown Act. Be quiet, you law-breaking fool, who don't even care enough to be over in the hearing for Huerte. Only Adam Schiff was. You guys don't care about anything except being bought and sold by developers, just as Merrick Garland stated August 24 in the New York Times under Biden, fools.
Next speaker.
Eat that one.
You have 1 minute for special one.
So I wrote a complaint on this very issue of the suspension of the Brown Act just because you want it to be so, right? And this is exactly what this special motion is at hand before us. And this isn't the first time this body nor any other city body has done this. It's literally been the police commissioners board. It's literally been the mayor, who has also had special private meetings she doesn't announce beforehand. And it's literally been various other commission boards that do not give any due notice. It's been the CPABs that have done the same thing, trying to suspend the Brown Act without giving any due notice, with suppressing public comment. And it's just a habitual pattern of this city to violate the Brown Act, to suspend it at will, and yet not give a damn. The feds are on you. The U.S. Attorney's Office is well in touch, and it's just an utter disgrace. The suspension constantly, just because you say so, the Brown Act, it's a criminal misdemeanor for doing so, and you know it.
Go ahead. You have 1 minute for special one.
That's right. And I want this to pass because it's fundamentally illegal. And I want you all to experience the pleasure of going to federal prison. You're going to love it there, Tracy. Imelda's going to especially love it because I hear you can get the best drugs at the best prices inside the prison, saving a lot of money on that pension. Bob's going to love raising his kids behind bars. Daddy, why are you here? Because I didn't listen to Mr. Goat Puppet, that's why I'm busted. But John Lee's okay. He got his cooperation agreement, right? Or he would have been charged.
It's not relevant to special one. This is your only warning. Stick to special one, or you're going to forfeit your time.
Nigga, I'm trying. So, just please
Hold
help
on.
me.
Pause his time.
I'm trying to...
So, George, you have been warned. Just Mr. Spindler, your time is paused. Mr. President, George has been warned already and is eligible for removal if you would like.
Please remove him from the meeting, subject to Rule 7.
So, George, you have been ordered removed from this meeting. Mr. Spindler, I would kindly remind you that you've been warned as well, and that the clock is not running, so it is not your turn to speak. Okay, go ahead. You have the 5 remaining seconds.
Right. I'm sorry, Tracy, I had to get underneath this so I don't get shot by rubber bullets. Fuck the motion. See you in jail, motherfucker.
And your time has expired. Next speaker. Go ahead. You have 1 minute for special one.
Thank you so much. You guys can't just suspend the Brown Act whenever you want. That's the behavior of authoritarians. To the more Leninist agitators out there, please stop assaulting cops. It just helps Trump. And to you, Marquise Harris-Dawson, for your characteristic disdain for the First Amendment, the Brown Act, and for free speech, you really need to go fuck yourself. Thank you guys so much.
Hey, what's up, City Council? My name is Sunshine. So special. My friends, don't hide from the process. We really need to see you. It's bad leadership to create a system where you can go get around the public's view of what you're doing. We really need you to shine for us more than anything right now in the city. This is the time to do everything completely transparency and not putting yourself into a place where we can't see exactly what's going on. It's imperative that your leadership is on the front lines right now, not in some hidden secret room talking amongst yourselves on how you're going to maneuver the people. So please make it possible for us to see that you guys are shining.
Sorry, can you pause his time? Mr. Herman, you have also been warned already, and Mr. President, Mr. Herman is eligible for removal if you would like.
Please remove Mr. Herman, subject to Rule 7, immediately. Thank you.
And to be clear, you're being removed and warned because you are disrupting the public comment. I cannot hear what Mr. Sunshine is saying because you're yelling to the audience. Can we check to see if his dog is okay, please? I don't know what. Mr. Herman, I would note that one, you've been removed. Two, your yelling appears to be upsetting your own dog.
Mr. City Attorney, can we file a criminal noise complaint against Mr. Herman?
Or if there's anyone from Animal Services who can please check on that animal.
And an animal cruelty charge?
I'm sorry, Mr. Sunshine, if you need just a couple seconds, just whenever you start talking, we'll start your time. Go ahead.
I could see why the council would like to get away from the public. It's very clear and understandable. I get you. And at the same time, you don't have that privilege. You get leadership privileges for making sacrifices, and the sacrifice you get to make is being up front and center. Thank you so much.
Next speaker.
Before the next speaker, I'd like to call...
Mr. Jamison, this is
You're
your
removed.
first and only warning. Do not disrupt this meeting.
Before the next speaker, I'd like to call one last name, Harriet.
Good morning. I'd like to speak on special comment. I think that it's unfair for you guys to try to revoke the Brown Act. We come down here weekly to tell our stories about our struggling cannabis businesses. My name is Asia Allen, and I represent BLACC, the Black Los Angeles Cannabis Council. And again, speaking on what was earlier, removing the tax on the gross receipts, thank you very much. But all the debt that we have been put in, in this limbo stage, is hurting us. We're in a state of emergency. The cannabis industry is in a state of emergency. We need help. I mean, at the end of the day, the cost recovery study, we need to be real. Why are we raising any fees? We're barely hanging on. We're drowning. The grant money that were promised over a year ago, I just got it, okay? 2 years later, 2023.
All right, that concludes public comment for this item. Madam Clerk, what's before us?
What is before council? A special one, sir.
All right, let's open the roll on that item. Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
Nice.
There is a request to send special one forthwith, sir.
Without objection, that'll be the order. That concludes our business for today. We are adjourned. Thank you so much, everybody.